Nowadays, the shelves of stores are full of different varieties of goods, but it is hard to find natural healthy products. Though the produce which we buy should not be only harmless, but also healthy. Everybody knows what honey is. Honey is one of the few products which is 100% natural. However, few people think of its unique properties. It is the only product that the body doesn't need to process. It is a symbol of immortality and fertility, health and well-being, beauty and happiness. Even our ancestors named honey the food of gods and the elixir of life. If a person eats 2 kilograms of honey a year, it will cost 3,500 or 4,000 tenge, and there will not be any need to buy medicines for 100,000 tenge. So why do we neglect this product? We are used to eating sugar. Honey is not in deficit. Maybe not everyone is able to select the real one and then use it correctly. The region has always been the most favorable for the development of beekeeping. In the old days, 80% of Kazakhstan's honey was produced here. Kazakhstan was the 4th country in production and export of honey in Soviet times after Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. 50,000 tons of honey were produced in Kazakhstan and exported to South Korea, Japan, and Germany. Of course, the scale is not the same. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the industry went into decay. Only 7 years ago, they started to revive beekeeping in this country with the guiding hand of the former Prime Minister of Kazakhstan, Sergei Tereshchenko. I sat home thinking what to do. What else can I create? And it occurred to me that I need to consider beekeeping. I went to the store and bought all the books that were in the bookstore. I began to read about beekeeping. My daughter laughed at me at the start, saying that books are already archaic. It is necessary to use a computer. And I'm completely useless on computers. She bought me a computer, and so I started my first steps. I learned what the internet is. I read about beekeeping in Russia, China, America, Canada, Turkey, and Ukraine, and it became clear that 70% of the products which are consumed by humanity are produced with the help of bees. Sergei Alexandrovich, being a person of national repute, was not only able to evaluate the prospects of the development of the beekeeping industry, but also get interested in useful products, which are produced by highly organized insects. There was a beekeeper, Sneznevsky. He made the following quotation: "If there will be a classification of animals by intelligence, bees will take for sure the very highest level. It is not a coincidence. A lot of things seem intraceable in human society, and it is very simple with bees. Well, imagine the brood rearing of 5,000 larvae. It is necessary to feed each larvae hundreds of times during the day. So what it means, each larvae is fed and there is no mess. Everything is organized and done precisely in a timely manner. And imagine a human society where some small work is supervised by 5 bosses, who have 25 assistants. However, everything is done wrong. And among the bees, there is no turmoil. Everything is done precisely in time." In general, beekeeping in our country originates in the distant 1786. Back then, bees were brought for the first time to East Kazakhstan. Major Arshenevsky ordered 30 families of bees from his sister in Kiev and brought them on a sledge and covered them by felt. It is written here that beekeeping originated in 1786 in Kazakhstan, and it is definitely a historical fact. But it is not quite right to say that beekeeping originated in this particular place. It originated somewhere around the village of Bobrovka. Rich and solid history allowed, first of all, to lay tradition of beekeeping, and second of all, to develop national scientists. The descendants of beekeepers know everything about honey. By botanical composition, our honey is almost unique. Here in the territory where we stand now, last year we observed that bees collected nectar from 48 to 50 species of plants. That is, the honey is rich in nectar and pollen of these plants. Such powerful herbs like nard, mint, oregano, rosebay, burdock, and meadow. These medicinal plants are very healthy. Nectar and pollen contain all the healthy particles. Why can't honey be cheap? How to distinguish a real from a surrogate? When Americans visited us, they were just amazed and surprised how much honey one can get here. Who needs honey and how to choose the best? People buy honey when they are sick. So what is natural honey? This is primarily a nectar collected by bees from the honey plants and processed by bees into honey. Hey brother, do we have a good harvest today? Yes, it was good. Bees are not fed by sugar syrup. By the way, nowadays you can buy a sweet product called honey, which has never been touched by bees. You shouldn't expect such honey to have healing properties. Honey is unique since it is the only product that human body does not have to process. It is a finished product, which is absorbed into the blood and cells. There is nothing else like that in nature. That is, the weakest person can eat it. Even diabetics who have excess sugar in their body need insulin for its processing. And with this product, you don't need insulin. It is ready. Mikhail Guzlyakov is the fourth-generation beekeeper. He says it about himself: I was born into apiary. I grew up next to bees. He started like most people here as an amateur, and now he's engaged professionally in the production of honey. He breeds and sells bees. So he advises before buying honey to read about its ingredients, and if there is sugar, then it is a surrogate. Our honey from the mountain forest zones is often of darker colors, and sometimes during fairs, people walk past such honey. It seems to them that it is not the best honey. In fact, it is honey which contains a lot of iron, magnesium, and magnesium. And these elements are necessary for the formation of erythrocytes. Therefore, it is a big plus for health. Some misunderstood this due to incompetence. This is, on the contrary, the honey of the highest quality, plus dark color of honey. It is a guarantee that it is not fake. The darker the honey is, the smaller of chances of surrogacy. It is impossible to fake dark honey.
И, вот некоторое, может быть, недопонимание, значит, некомпетентность.
Beekeeping season begins in Kazakhstan from the first days of spring. First in the mountain forest and in the mountain steppes of Taldykurgan and Almaty regions, then in East Kazakhstan. Each region has its own honey plants. In Altai, willows bloom first, acacia blossoms at the end of May. Further, holy clover blooms in the fields and angelica in the mountains. After this, angelica, buckwheat, sunflower, and all kinds of steppe grass start to bloom. The production of honey is the same as harvesting of grain. The soul rejoices, and you can get a remuneration for the work. Well, acacia honey is considered to be the best honey in the world, followed by sweet clover honey. I've honestly tried a lot of honey in China, Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, and lime, buckwheat, honey, but each one is good in its own way. But as a patriot of my apiary, I believe that the best honey is here in Turgan Gorge. The best honey comes from the diversity of the mountain grasses. Although I have a dream to do more floral honey, this frame is inserted into a hive in this form. This has been made by bees. I only close it with a lid, and it is available for every person. And this should be done here. Thyme honey, oregano honey, or chestnut honey. When Sergei Tereshenko decided to engage in this business, there were a few beekeepers in Kazakhstan. Even at the beginning of 2010, our country only produced 1,000 tons of honey per year. Now in Kazakhstan, it is well represented in beekeeping in the world. In just a few years, a lot of professional apiaries with a comprehensive mechanism of processes appeared in the country. Advanced methods and technologies are now applied throughout the country. Since 2010, the apiary passed onto professional footing. We bought a land plot, purchased packaging and equipment. Well, we have a strong enterprise. Currently, we have 500 bee families in the area. The apiary has the status of a breeding farm, primarily the apiary of the Finnish honey direction.
В данный момент мы имеем в районе 500 пчелосемей.
I invited my friends. I said to them, let's create a national union of beekeepers of Kazakhstan. And we have now established this union. It was on the 10th of March of 2010. Henceforth, I started beekeeping. I can't say that I'm a professional beekeeper. I'm an amateur, but as an organizer, I can say that we succeeded. Because for beekeepers, the most important thing is that the sale of the product, where to sell it. And we started to work on it. We set up a company and called it Sunbee. We began to help beekeepers. We started to supply Carpathian queens. We began to produce our bee packages, and we held our own congress and joined the global organization, which is called Atameken.
Самое главное для пчеловодов – это реализация продукции.
The trademark Sunbee is a creation of Sergei Terashenko. The plant with a full cycle processing of honey and the production capacity of 2 million tons per year was built 2 years ago on this own initiative in an ecologically clean area of East Kazakhstan region near the village of Tarkhanka. Now all the major beekeeping farms of the region deliver their honey here. There are many manufacturers of bee products on the market. A beekeeper can get to the market himself as well as any packaging company, which is engaged in the purchase of sale of honey. Not all have the ability to control production and control the quality of its products. As a rule, for most consumers, honey is just honey. He did not think whether to buy this, that, or the other. The task of our trademark, Sunbee, to buy one and to believe that it is the product of the highest quality and the highest biological value, and the person remembers the trademark Sunbee, always buying Sunbee.
Наша задача и торговая марка Sunbee сделать так, что один раз купив, будет покупать все время Sunbee.
Sunbee cooperates only with reliable suppliers. We cooperate with many of them on long-term contracts for several years. Many beekeepers have received loans for development that now allow them to reach higher standards of their products. On average, it is believed that one hive can yield 30 kilograms of marketable honey. There are masters of our business who can collect up to 200 kilograms. It happens, and it happens that sometimes I fill 2 flasks. One flask is 50 kilograms. We carefully monitor the quality. We introduced a special system that monitors the process from the flask to the jar, and even till shelf life at the store. Each flask, which we accept, is marked with an indicating marker of a specific beekeeper who brought it, the date of delivery. We put it in our journal, the date of packaging, and so on. The main product of the company today is packaged honey, the one that comes directly from the apiary to the plant, minimal processing, clearing, and immediately on the table of the consumer. Honey is extremely necessary for children from the age of 2. If there are no restrictions, honey is also required for teenagers and adults, as it is a product that allows you to stay healthy, to be cheerful and efficient, as well as for older people, as it prolongs life to a mature age.
Обычному человеку, как продукт, который позволяет сохранять здоровье, быть бодрым и работоспособным.
Wine, cream, and ointment. How many products can be produced from honey? Our new developments are honey and berry mixtures, such as honey with blueberry, cranberry, cowberry, and hawthorn. Why are unique properties prescribed to honey? It contains an enzyme which is called lysozyme, and it kills all pathogens. What is hiding behind the unappetizing word bee bread? The composition of honey is known, but it is not fully studied. If you ask the experts, they will answer the same. Honey contains more than 500 components, which are necessary for a human being and is one of the few completely natural products. It is no accident that on the packages of the trademark Sunbee, there is a wording, consumption of honey is a guarantee of health and a long life. It is necessary to give honey of 10 grams per pupil at schools. Japanese people have done this since 1945. The Japanese give children 20 grams of honey a day from the state budget from age 17 to 14 years old. Every citizen in Japan over 60 years old gets drugs with a royal jelly, and it affects the lifespan. The Japanese live 87 years on average. We live about 70. So my position is every Kazakhstani citizen should consume 20 grams of honey a day. All of these diseases will disappear.
Каждому казахстанцу 20 грамм меда в день.
They produce honey of different kinds and varieties, taste and volume at the Sunbee plant. There are large barrels of almost 1 kilogram. There is honey in small packages, which is intended for breakfast. There is one 10-gram container for children at schools. Akims of East Kazakhstan region, the cities of Almaty and Astana, supported the idea of Terashenko and included the honey of Sunbee in the nutrition program of schools.
Мед недооценен в данный момент.
Honey is undervalued at the moment. Honey can be consumed both in pure form and in cooking, in the manufacture of confectionery, ice cream, breakfast cereals, beverages, and wines. Honey is perceived as a therapeutic product in Kazakhstan, and then normally only when people don't feel well.
В сложных продуктах.
There are many different bee products. There used to be both for health support and they are used both for health support and medicinal reasons.
Когда маточное молочко впервые.
When royal jelly was introduced into the diet for people for the first time, people thought that the elixir of youth has been discovered. It had such active and positive effect on the body. It's proved that the royal jelly extends the life of a person. It has beneficial effects on the cardiovascular function. It affects the reproductive function. Honey is recommended for the use from the age of 2. According to some research, royal jelly can be used from birth. As an example, royal jelly is widely used in the diet of inhabitants of Southeast Asia. China produces about 2 million tons of this royal jelly each year. It consumes half of it. The other half is exported to Japan. There are several people who use this royal jelly among the Kazakhstani residents. It is mainly those who are interested in beekeeping. The number of biologically active bee products based on royal jelly, pollen, and propolis are produced at the plant under the trademark Sunbee.
Если вы остыли где-то.
If you got a cold or feel unwell, you have a sore throat, take a spoonful of honey with propolis extract, suck it in your mouth, and thus you can eliminate the unfavorable symptoms that have started to develop prior to the beginning of the disease. Of course, honey and the derivatives from it is not a panacea for diseases, but every man, whatever sickness he might have, will find a recipe with honey for treatment. This is a fully sealed honey frame. These are wax caps accumulated on its top. When you need to pump honey, it is necessary to cut the caps, and this thing is called comb capping. The most healthy honey is the comb capping because there is a lysozyme, which kills all germs in the body.
Так вот, самый полезный мед вот здесь, на забрусе.
Еще один продукт достаточно интересный.
Bee bread is another quite useful and interesting product which bees produce from pollen.
Это перга.
Bees use this unique technology in the production of honey. Bee bread is another valuable product from the hive.
Рабочие пчелы, принося.
Worker bees bring pollen to the hive, they put it in cells, press it, add nectar, and then the natural environment of the hive starts to produce the lactic fermentation, as a result of which the bee bread is formed. Bee bread is produced naturally without human intervention. It is a 100% natural product. It can't be made by humans. Bee bread restores strength, it beneficially affects the nervous system, it improves the metabolic process in the body, many useful factors that improve life. We produce honey with bee bread and bee bread in pure form.
Это 100% натуральный продукт, его невозможно подделать. Мы производим мед с пергой и пергу в чистом виде.
The variety and innovation of the plant Sunbee is huge. The new national developments appear periodically. For example, Epitonis, the production of honey with different taste qualities. Honey and berry mixtures are of particular interest. Honey with blueberries, cranberries, cowberries, sea buckthorn, hawthorn will find its consumers for sure.
Нужно понимать, что
You have to understand that not all bee products offered on the market are biologically valuable products. Sometimes after spending money, people don't get what they wanted. So it is important that we produce products ensuring their superior quality. There are experts to ensure it. There is an entry laboratory that controls the raw materials. There is an exit control. There is a special quality control system, which was implemented and that works, and we constantly try to raise the bar.
качество, которое внедрено и которое работает.
The entire process is automated at the plant. The laboratory is equipped with the most modern equipment. Only professionals work here. Honey that does not meet the provisions of quality criteria is returned to beekeepers. All products are certified at the National Center of Expertise of the Food Academy.
Настолько наш Алтай богат
Our
медоносом.
Altai is so rich with honey plants, wonderful honey, but sometimes you wonder that somewhere in the steppes, in the sands, there are people who do not see the spoon of honey, and over here there is a river of honey, literally thousands of tons. Why not go and get it? You can't get hundreds of thousands of tons of honey. Consume it, native Kazakh
И
people.
кушайте, родной Казахстан, люди, значит, кушайте.
Apitherapy, is it a folksy utopia or a medicine of the future? Buzzing, first troubles and then calms. Did healers and herbalists highly appreciate bees? And what are the prospects of the domestic bee breeding? The task is that we had honey cakes, ice cream with honey, juices with honey additives, honey beer, and honey wine.
Медовое пиво.
Вот это называется улей.
This is called a beehive therapy. There are 2 chaisi loungers over there, and there are 4 beehives under each chaisi lounger. There are 4 medicinal components. First and foremost, it is coming from the beehives. The bees flap their wings and gases get vaporized and the cleanest air comes out of the beehive, filling the aromas and filling the spaces around. It is acknowledged that it has a positive effect on the people who have problems with the respiratory system.
И оттуда из улья чистейший воздух, наполненный ароматами, попадает сюда.
Sergei Tereshchenko, when he got engaged in beekeeping, was carried away by beehive therapy. The treatment in the bee house is gaining immense popularity in Europe, Ukraine, and Belarus.
В каждом улье, сейчас поменьше к зиме готовятся, а так
200 to 250,000 bees give you their energy, and they pierce you by bioenergy.
250 тысяч пчел отдают тебе свою энергию.
In contrast to a rather aggressive therapy of bee stinging, beehive therapy is a pleasant, safe, and memorable, as well as a novel experience.
Пчелы и
Bees make vibrations and all your atoms and molecules begin to oscillate. Buzzing first troubles and then calms. It positively affects the respiratory system, cardiovascular diseases, back, and neurological diseases. It has been proven and demonstrated.
это проверено, это показано, это работает.
Beehive therapy is one of the directions of apitherapy, the methods of treatment of diseases with the use of live bees and bee products. People were treated with the help of apitherapy several centuries ago in Egypt, ancient Rome, Greece, and India. Bee products with their positive impact on people are still studied in many foreign clinics.
У нас, как правило, мед покупают люди, когда...
People buy honey when they are already sick. What should be done so that people start to eat honey? One of the components is nutrition. Honey is the part of nutrition. We, together with specialists and doctors, nutritionists, must persuade the community that honey will allow us to live a happy and long life. We need to consolidate all efforts. It is necessary to bring it to the notice of people. There should be a special social campaign. A state servant should not sit in a chair and say, I have no money in the budget. About what kind of honey for school children are you talking about? I have no money for textbooks. A state servant should not speak so, because a healthy child is a smart child.
Нужно донести людям.
According to a scientist beekeeper, Igor Rukavitsyn, not only the honey in its purest form should be on the table in Kazakhstan, we can produce cakes and ice cream with honey additives, produce juices, wine, beer on the basis of it. Certainly honey is more expensive than sugar, many manufacturers will say that, but the natural product cannot be cheap. And in the future, humanity is definitely after this useful and healthy product. What did the Mother Earth give us? Its power of the earth, the energy of the sun, the beauty of the flowers, and honey combines it all.
Все это в меде.
The market of honey is very dynamic. Currently, 1.5 thousand tons of honey are produced in the world each year. There are 6 major producers: China, USA, Argentina, Turkey, Ukraine, and Mexico. Among the major importers are Germany, Japan, and again the United States and China. There is a composition of honey that is growing faster than its production. Beekeeping is a promising industry for the development, and especially now when the price of oil and metals are steadily declining.
Мораловодство и пчеловодство датируется.
Morel breeding and beekeeping are subsidized by the state. Accordingly, it is necessary to register. Not everyone gets subsidies. You have to pass some criteria. You need to have the status of a breeding farm to receive subsidies. But in principle, we have already received subsidies for 3 years. And I tell you that it is pretty significant for beekeeping and for me as a business manager.
Для меня, для хозяйственника, по крайней мере.
Государство помогает, да, есть.
The state helps. There is a very good mechanism through Kazagro. I must say that President Nazarbayev has created an unprecedented business support system. And even in such a situation as the devaluation of the tenge, we find an opportunity to help beekeepers.
Даже в тяжелых условиях, когда вот эта вот девальвация, когда
According to the founder of the trademark Sunbee, Sergei Tereshchenko, beekeeping in Kazakhstan is gaining momentum. 4 or 5 years or so since the creation of the National Union, a lot has been achieved. Beekeepers are united, the authority of the organization is raised, and we started to train our staff, young people, occasionally to go abroad for training. At the beginning of the way, we had to convince the officials and the state. However, it is necessary to promote honey in our society for the health of everyone. And if you already know about the benefits of this unique product, feel free to go to the store and choose Sunbee.
Торговая марка.
Trademark Sunbee is the best trademark in the world.